Hello, my name is Jeff Kresge. I'm the Jamestown Public Schools Tech Integration Specialist along with Jason Kaufman. And this video is going to show you how to navigate Google Classroom using a desktop or a laptop. If you have an iPad, that video is separate because the interfaces for the iPad looks different than a desktop or laptop. So if you're on a desktop or a laptop, here we go. The good place to start is on your home Google screen, and make sure that you're signed in as the student account. So I've got my son's student account ready to go, and to find Google Classroom, you can either type classroom.google.com in the address bar, or easier, go to the tic-tac-toe board on the top right-hand side and click the icon for Classroom, which is a chalkboard with a character on it. Once you get there, this is your Google Classroom home screen, and all of the students' classes that they are enrolled in will appear here. So, pretty easy to navigate. All you need to do is click on the class that you want to go into, and then you can launch it. But before we do that, I want to show you a couple of things, nifty tips and tricks that might help you out as students or parents. First of all, in the top left-hand side, you see a to-do list. Your to-do list will show all of the students' assignments, regardless of course. It'll put them all together for you. So, as you can see, we've got a September 13th, September 20th, September 30th, and it puts them in order this week, next week, and later, or you can view all if you like. If you'd like to see if you're missing any assignments, you can click this Missing tab, and it'll show you which assignments you have not yet turned in. And if you want to see which assignments you've completed, if you click the Done tab, it will show you that as well, and you'll notice that these are all turned in. So that's your To-Do tab. Going back over here, let's take a look at the calendar for a second. Very useful tool. It shows you by the week what it is that you have to do. So for example, the May 17th through May 23rd week in 2020, Jackson had the following assignments. He had a couple things due on Sunday, a couple on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And it shows you by the day what that task is. Now, if you don't remember the details or you'd like to know the details of that task, you can go ahead and click on that assignment and it will pull that up for you. So that's how that works. Calendar, super useful tool. Again, back on this home screen, if you go down here, you see all the classes that you can toggle through, or you can go to the three bars and see that as well. And so there's all your classes that are listed. There's a couple ways to join classes. So let's talk about joining classes now. There's three ways. The first way is if you go to this plus in the top right-hand side, join class will be an option. So if you click that, the teacher will give you a class code, 5 to 7 letters and numbers long, and that class code would go right here. So if the teacher gives you that class code, the code goes in that box, and then you hit join. Another way to join is if the teacher has personally invited your account. So I have created a class and I invited my son to join, which is why the join box shows up. To join, all you have to do is click the join button. A third way, and this is new, is that Google Classroom now allows you to, for teachers to invite students by a link. So when the teachers create a link, they can invite their students via email. So now that you know all three ways, let's join with the join button. Once we hit the join button, Jackson will be entered into the Intro to Google Classroom. And this is the home screen for the classroom. Now, if we look at the top of the screen, there are three tabs: Stream, Classwork, and People. Let's talk about each one individually. The Stream tab is basically used by most teachers for a method of communication. So the teachers can post a comment to students. If they have it set up this way, teachers can comment to students and students can comment back, or students can post too. Those are teacher settings that teachers can decide how they want to use it. However, think of the stream as a Twitter feed or a Facebook feed. It's basically used for communication. If you are looking for classwork, it might appear here, but it might not. It depends how the teacher has it set up. This particular class does show those, but The best way to go find assignments, as you can see in this communication here, is to go to the Classwork tab. So once we click the Classwork tab, let's take a look at what we've got. On the left-hand side, you've got something called topics. Teachers can arrange their materials by topic. So Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, or the name of the topics, in this case World War I and Civil Rights. If you click World War I, it'll pull up all the assignments for that particular unit. And if you click Civil Rights, those are the Civil Rights units. All topics will show you everything. Now, the topic headings are here in big bold letters with the individual assignments underneath. So there's 2 for World War I and there's 2 for Civil Rights. But if we look, this particular assignment is not in a topic. And so it's kind of hanging out all on its own. Anything not in a topic will appear at the top of the screen. So there are 5 assignments here that the student has to work on, and 4 of them are in topics and 1 is hanging out on its own because favorite sport doesn't really fit into World War I or Civil Rights. So that's how topics works. If you want to view your work, it shows you where you are as a student. So here's the student's name. Here are the 5 assignments. Please notice that he hasn't done any because he just got into the class, and so we've got some work to do. So that way, if we go back to the class, again, here's a calendar again for you if you wanted to see, and it will launch your class drive folder. If you really get stuck and you lose your materials, it will be located in the class drive folder. Okay. So let's tackle an assignment, shall we? This one that's not in a topic, favorite sport, that one sounds pretty easy. So if you click the document, it will give you the time it was created and then some materials, some information. So open the attached Google Doc below. So here's that Google Doc by clicking on it. Then answer the question, what's your favorite sport on the document? Then return back to Classroom and click Turn In on the right side of the screen. Okay, so this is the overview. This isn't the actual assignment. If we want to see the assignment, and this is important, let's click View Assignment. So now, this is where we want our students to go into the document. So again, we see it's worth 100 points, so it's a really important assignment, and it looks really challenging. So let's take a look. Here's our instructions again. If we have a class comment, it goes here. If we have a private comment to the teacher, that would go right here. So class comments, so that everybody sees, right here. I'm stuck, I need help. Hey, did anybody see that broken link? Or private comment, teacher, I really don't understand this assignment. Could you help? Or I lost my document, or whatever it is that the student may need. So the student's work is up here. Because the student's name is on the document, that means that every kid in the class will have their own document. So Jackson has his own, Timmy would have his, Susie would have hers. Each student will be working on their own document. To get to the document, you simply click right up here. That will launch that particular student's document. So we know that that's the case by his name is at the top of the screen. What's your favorite sport? So if I look at the document, what's my favorite sport? I happen to know that Jackson's favorite sport is ice hockey. So I'm going to check my spelling, check my grammar, check my punctuation, and then I'm not going to click Turn In here. Please note that it's not blue, so do not click Turn In here. What I'd prefer you to do is to go back to Classroom, just like the instructions said. So we've got our document, it's done. We're going to go back to our Classwork tab. That work automatically is saved, and if you want to check it, you can. Here's that document, it's saved. So we're going to go back to Classroom. Here's the document, and if we're satisfied and we're done, we're going to click Turn In. Now, you can go back and edit that. So if you wanted to go back and change it and put golf, you can. But I know my son would be upset, so I will put ice hockey. Again, we're going to turn in on the Classroom page. The document is there, and I'm going to click Turn In. It'll say, are you sure? Yes. Turn in, and now that assignment is done. So that's how you turn in a Google Doc on a desktop or a laptop. It looks a little different in iPad. Again, if you're on an iPad, see that video. Okay, so now we know we've got one thing done. So let's close this out. One change. Please notice that these are blue. That means that I have not done those as a student, but once it's done and turned in, it's grayed out. So I know, aha, one of my 5 assignments is done. So let's go to a next one. This icon means there's a question. That means that there may or may not be a document. Again, this is just a summary, but to get into the actual assignment, you have to click View Question. So here's our familiar piece. Again, we know that this one is worth 5 points. Here's the instruction. Respond to the question, what was the most important cause of World War I in the question response area? That's not here. This is where class comments go. Some students make the mistake of typing their answers in here, and that's not where it goes. Google Classroom, for whatever reason, put the blank here, and it confuses students. So, students, parents, guardians, don't let your student write the answer to questions in the comment box. That's not where it goes unless the teacher tells you to. The answers go here under your answer. So, the answer to the question will go here. So, what's the most important cause of World War I? We're going to type in the answer, and we're going to put alliances. Debatable, but that's what we're going to put. Now, if you have a comment for your other classmates, it goes here. If you have a comment for the teacher, just for the teacher, that's where private comments go. And you put the comment in there, such as that. And then you can send it with the paper airplane. Okay? So, we like the answer alliances. It's spelled correctly. When we're satisfied, we're going to hit turn in. And that means that we have turned the answer in. Now, cool thing about questions is you can see your classmates' responses once you respond your answer. Now, unfortunately, Jackson doesn't have any classmates in this one, but they would show up if he wanted to see them if there were more than one student at this tab, the classmates' answers. Okay, so let's go back to our Google Classroom, go back to the Classwork tab. Please notice now that this one we just did is now grayed out. So we'll go to Causes of World War I. Next assignment. Remember, this is a summary. This isn't the actual assignment. So let's go and click View Assignment. We like this because it shows our work on over here. That's a good thing. Okay, so what is this one telling us? Well, it's a 10-point assignment. Here's our instructions using the materials provided. So here's our materials. And any outside research, discover the main causes of World War I. Then on the provided Google slide, here's our Google slide, place 4 images to represent the 4 main causes of World War I and explain in a text box. So the teacher has created a materials list for me. Here's a chart with the 4 main causes. I could click on it and it opens up. Here's a reading on the causes of the World War I from Khan Academy. So I could get the information from here too. Or here's a video that explains the causes of World War I from Himmler's history. So I have 3 options to find information. I could use all 3. If I could find the answer in just one, I could do that too. Ultimately, I'm going to have to open up this document. Now, this is where my answer is going to go. 4 images to represent the main causes. So I'm going to open this up. And I see already that there is one cause. And I happen to know that's imperialism. So we said alliances before. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Insert, Image, Search the web. Google will have this built in for us. So we'll type in alliances in World War I. And then it will bring those alliances up. And I happen to know that this political cartoon is a really good one, showing alliances in World War I. So, here are my alliances. Here is my imperialism. I would put my other 2 causes over here, and I'm done. Now, again, we don't turn in work here. We turn in work in the Google Classroom. So, I'm going to go back to Google Classroom. I've got my causes of World War I document there. The changes have been saved automatically. Again, if you wanted to check it, you can. We had this one. We added this one. Okay. Let's say that we've got all 4 done. Once we're done, we're going to say mark as done, and that particular one will be finished. Again, Class comments are below the line. Private comments to teachers are over here. But once we're finished, mark as done is highlighted. We'll click that and it will say, are you sure that it's done? Yes, I'm sure that I'm finished. Mark as done. So now, go back to our Classwork tab. We can now see, aha, I've turned in 3 of my 5 assignments. So now we've finished 3 assignments. And what I did was I switched this one from an assignment to a material just to show you what that looked like. If the teachers give students materials, it'll be gray because they don't actually have to turn anything in. It's just materials for the kids to use. So let's take a look at that one. So again, this is just a summary. To see the actual piece, we go into View Material. And it says, examine this collection of civil rights photographs. Be prepared to explain which 3 photographs you feel would be most influential in getting the citizens of the U.S. to support the movement. So, any materials, just like a document, you just click and that will launch, and then the students are at that website and can go through and pick the materials. At that point, we're going to go back to Google Classroom, and we've got 1 assignment to go. And because it's blue, we have to turn something in. So let's take a look at what it is. Again, this is a summary. Let's click View Assignment to see what it is. And it says it's worth 5 points. We're going to click on the Google form and complete a quiz. So to do that, again, click on the link. Here's your quiz. Here's your heading. Make sure that that's your account. Which civil rights leader delivered the I Have a Dream speech? Was it MLK, Rosa Parks, John Lewis, or Little Rock 9? Now, I happen to know that John Lewis was there that day, but he didn't deliver that speech. Martin Luther King did. So Martin Luther King, and then we're going to submit. Now, if the kid would like the copy of his response, he could. But in this case, we're just going to submit, and then we're going to view our score. And then, aha, I got it right. Victory is mine. So I'm going to go back here. I took the quiz, and then over here, this is important. Remember, I have to tell my teacher I'm done. Because even though you turned it in, you want to say in Google Classroom, I finished it. So, turned in, all set, ready to go, and I'm done. So, again, in the stream, it's for communication. Classwork is for what it is that you need to do. And everything is grayed out, so I'm all set. And the last tab is the People tab, people who are in the class. This is how you can email your teacher. So you can just email your teacher with this icon right here, and that will allow you to communicate with your teacher. So again, this is Google Classroom, 3 tabs. This is the learning management system from grades 3 through 12. This is Jeff Kresge from the Jamestown Public Schools. I hope that you have a fantastic and rewarding year 2021 at JPS. Thank you.